everybody, welcome back to MBE. Thanks for joining Biggs and I. So we got some billet manifolds here. We have a cast one here. But let's just talk about this. So this is a small block billet manifold that we do, and this is the big block. So 632, 434, so 200 cubic inch. It kind of gives you an idea size-wise when you look at them. Something that's 200 more cubic inch, it makes about 300 more horsepower. It takes this much to do it. I mean, look at how much larger this is. So you either have this or you have this. So everything has to grow. And, you know, we spent a lot of time and a lot of years, you know, working on this and you know, just learning about it so we can put out a really good, an excellent product here. So, but I think it's kind of cool when you look at them both. 200 cubic inch, 300 horsepower. You got to make a big move to get there. Okay. The weird thing is though, if this was on like a 510 cubic inch small block, you still wouldn't make it this big. What happens is when you get to those big cubic inch small blocks like that, they're highly inefficient. So we wouldn't make this any larger. You know, the RPMs are going to go down. So all of that. So yeah, but that's it. And then of course we do. This is the big 9 billet one. And then this is a cast Edelbrock that we port. A lot of guys, you know, they don't want to afford the billet, completely understand. Or if the 50 or 60 horsepower isn't worth it to them, or the 18 pounds. Like, I get it. It's no problem. We have no problem getting the Edelbrocks. You know, we've worked with Edelbrock now for, I don't know, I think we were the first customer that they put on account that was not one of like the Summits or something like that. So, or the Jags or anything like that. So yeah, that was pretty cool. And okay, so we have this big 9 stuff here. So this stuff's just about finished. We have the spacer right here, flat out made us a spacer, really nice. Makes it real simple instead of having to make it out of aluminum. And then we will trim this so it matches the intake, so everything looks clean. But yeah, so the guys will get done, and then this stuff will get assembled by the end of the week. This stuff's finished, so everything's done there. And then we have some stuff. Let's go through here. Let's go around here, Mr. Biggs. And we have our A460 cylinder head right here. So this is after it's been angle milled. Then we go back and redo the chamber after it was angle milled. So when you angle mill something, you cut more off of here than here. So this is like a 0 to 120. So you got, so this is high here when you're in the servicer. So your first cuts like this, and then it just gets wider as you go. And so 120 high thick, and then high, and then 0 here. So. But anyways, that gets the chamber smaller. But the one thing that it does in our version of the A, what we learned years ago, is that in the A head, the intake position, the intake valve position is not in the best position. Compared to what we're able to do with the big block Chevy stuff, we actually twist the big block Chevy stuff around as much as 300 thousandths over here. The valve would be way over here. But what it does is, because we can angle mill it, it allows us to lay back the chamber. And now the chamber's not the choke, because the chamber was the choke before. But now we're able to lay this back more because we have more material to work with because of angle milling. I know it's kind of hard to understand, but trust me, it's 30 CFM, so it's a real deal. Especially for the truck pull guys, it's excellent because most of those guys are either 485 cubic inch or 500, and we need to get the chamber as small as possible for them. So typically these are done at like 66 cc's, so we can get it very small, so you don't have to put all that dome on the piston. So, and that's free power too. Anything we can do to try and make it efficient, we try to look at everything, I promise. And then that's a spacer right here for the intake manifold that bolts on it. So all O-ringed, everything around the water and everything. And then the engine builders, if they want, they can drill here, where this water is here. They can drill drill right there, right in this corner pocket right here. They can drill and tap that, and they can have water coming out here. So it makes it real simple where you don't have to put it on the ends of the cylinder head. So I have all of that. And then this stuff is in line to be valve jobbed over here. So we got 2 sets of big 9s, Mr. Henry, Mr. Molyneux, and then we have a set of max pulls for Mr. Kelly. So So all this stuff, all the guides, oh, so let's start. So when these come in, they're raw, right? So we first machine the seat bores, guide bores, spark plugs, spring pockets, rocker gear, all of that. Then we press in the seats and the guides, and then we CNC them and do all the porting. Then after that's done, the deburring, then we go through a deburring process, so when the engine builder gets it, he doesn't have to do any of that. So we do that. Then they go in the back and we hone guides with the diamond hones, and the guide clearance we get to 1/10. They're within 1/10 every single one. The reason why we do that is because if we can keep that tolerance tight, when it goes on the epoch, the concentricity on the valve will be much better. So on a brand new valve with the epoch, no matter what size valve it is, we can always get under a half. I mean, that's pretty a half a thou. So where in the past, if you were a really good SERDI guy, you know, I'd say 8/10 to 1. Certainly took some finesse to use that machine, but an amazing machine. No, don't get me wrong. But just like everything, things evolve, right? So we all just want to be better. So, and then this is a set of 18-degree Big Chiefs. So this set of heads was originally ported by one of the people that doesn't do it full time, that just goes on Facebook, and he charged this guy to port him, and he didn't port him. All he did was cartridge roll everything. To give you an idea, we picked him up 75 CFM, and that is no BS, 75 CFM. There was no porting done to these. I feel like they just stole from him. But I'll tell you what, this thing's, Mr. Forbes is going to be really happy. Ian did an outstanding job on these. An 18-degree Big Chief on a 1020 flow bench that flows over 525. I think he got to 527. It's badass. And plus the porting is perfect, the shapes, everything about it. So these haven't been finished valve job yet. So maybe Biggs will take a picture of them when they're finished valve job, because they'll be valve job one day this week. So we're finishing all this stuff up now. And they'll look really good when they're finished valve job. And then we did new valves for them. So I got a new valve here, coated with chromium nitride. We put copper beryllium seats in it. So now we're just going to have something that's going to last forever. This will have no wear on the valve because we do not use the brass seats that typically about 98% of them use. We put the better seat material. That's why we're always $700 to $800 more. But valves are $1,100 at least. And then if you add coating to them, then they're $1,500. So if we can save them buying valves, years and years they can run the valve without any wear because of the seat material, you know, then we save somebody money. Okay, so that's done there. And then we'll, I guess we'll go this way, Mr. Biggs. So we have this is a repair service of one of our Pro Mod cylinder heads, so the Brad Anderson platform. So this is a 8-year-old set of cylinder heads here. So we'll update all this stuff, get everything looking good. I haven't even flipped it out to see how much damage is done. Oh, not too much damage, so that's good. So hopefully it's just a simple service. We'll get everything done on this. And then this is another set of A460 heads. So these obviously have not been valve job. They're in line to get the guides honed. So all the CNC work is finished. It's completed. So these are almost finished too. And these will get one of our MBE manifolds for it, for the A460, the big block board stuff. And then we have lots of stuff finished in here. So so these cylinder heads here is a 23-degree head that the customer had bought years ago, and then so we ported them for him. We put copper beryllium seats for him, put the good guide material in and everything. So these are finished. This is another handiwork of Ian's, really nice work. He's quite an artist, to say the least. And yeah, so really nice set of 23-degree heads. Really, really nice. And then all of this stuff is Tom Hammond stuff. So right here, so we're getting Tom's stuff put together. so we can get it to Anthony DeSoma, the engine builder, so we can get this stuff going. But you can see just everything's finished on this. And, you know, I think the finish work speaks for itself. Everybody here just has so much experience and they care so much. It's just really nice to come into work every day, truthfully. And yeah, so this is all good here. And this has got a convex on the intake valve because this is a Pro Charger. This is a Pro Charger. So you can't really see the convex, but it makes it strong. Still allows us to put the dish in to keep the weight out of it. So if he wants to run a lot of lift or RPM, he'll be able to do that. And then he's building 2 motors, so we have the cylinder heads right there. And then we have his 2 intake manifolds, some different deck heights here, so we had to make spacers for it. When we made the spacers, we had to move the bolt holes. We had to do a little bit of extra work to make all that fit, but that's no problem. The guys can handle it. And of course, this is EFI. You can see the fuel rails and everything on it. And John, we use John at CID's intake manifolds. They're awesome. We spend a lot of time in these, just trying to get whatever advantage we can. So we do spend a lot of time in these intakes. But John makes a great part, man. This is it's such a good mate with this. Using his casting and his intake manifolds and something like this, it's a badass piece. And this is completely legal. I forget what class Tom runs because this isn't a candid valve. This is the CID LS7 that we do with the 250 valve, over 430 CFM. So real nice. And then we've got everything over here. We've been using, there's a new company making head studs, Point One. And the people who are working there in industry have been in the industry for, well, the one is Kevin Feeney. I went to high school with him, so that kind of gives you an idea. He's an old guy too, but he's running Point One, and they put all the best machinery you can buy. So we're purchasing a lot of stud kits from them right now, and everything comes in. It's just like how everything Kevin does, truthfully. And Kevin's worked for Comp, he worked for Dart, you know, he worked, you know, at good places, and not somebody to move around. He's usually very valuable and nobody wants him leaving. So, but yeah, you know, everything's nice. They even give you a little brush. So I wanted to show that. So we try to supply as much as we can, so the engine builder or whoever buys it doesn't, you know, they don't have to worry about it. So intake gaskets, valve covers, stud kits. We can even do stud kits for the valve covers, just all the little things that, if you're an engine builder, are really a pain in the ass to track down. We try to have all of that. Here's another set of big 9s right here. So I'm not sure where their billet manifold is, but somewhere. But these are finished. Dave got all these assembled right here. And, so with the PSI springs, that's nice. Yeah. And so this is a power adder. You can see by the chamber, it has a soft chamber in it. So this is a power adder. And then valve springs and things like that. So this has different intake and exhaust springs. Not always do we put the same valve spring on intake and exhaust. If the lift varies enough, we need to put a different valve spring on the exhaust. So we will always do that. Just to keep refining things. And the cool part when you do it, it gives you 8 spares of each. And if you're buying something like this, you know, you're going to want to have a few spares anyways. But just trying to just be meticulous on everything. And then this person, he's got valve covers with spring oilers. Moroso makes those. And here's all the bolts for the intake manifold. I think that's cadmium coated, I think. Yep. And the stainless washers. So nothing rusts, so just everything's clean. And then all these in the valley tray, these are all stainless also. So just, yeah, we don't want it looking like crap in here, that's for sure. And valve cover gaskets, intake gaskets, so, you know, a very complete kit there. So, and like I said, like even when the rockers come in, we mock up every set of rockers just to be sure, because that's the last thing, you know, it's one of the last things that goes on the engine. And you don't want to find out then that the rocker's wrong or has the wrong rocker bar. I mean, things happen, right? So we try to catch that here beforehand. And we have somebody like Dave that does that. And, you know, like you've heard me talk about Dave in the past. Yeah, Dave's exceptional at all of that. David found out that the bolts were, he felt that they were a thread or two too long, so he actually had me get a hold of T&D and get some shorter bolts. So that's what we did. So we don't have to worry about them bottoming out. So, and I think that's it, Mr. Biggs. All right, thanks for joining us tonight, everybody. Have an amazing week. Thank you.